Hello, folks. I guess you can hear me. So let us see. Nice to see that Streamlabs works as it should. Only the market doesn't work like it should. However, well, first of all, it was my mistake. I have tweeted about the Q&A today and just said, oh, I have an echo right now. And why? Oh, I guess I know why. So, no. Julieta, could you wait? Now it should work. Okay, everything is fine. That was my echo. I have tweeted and said, please drop your question as a comment. But I was saying on YouTube now, people are just making their questions on Twitter. That's absolutely fine. I can track that, so no problem. We will talk about that. Of course, we have from Pista up or down. Yeah, well, I mean, if you want my personal opinion, I can tell you my personal opinion. I mean, I'm doing that also related to the daily personal conclusions. I don't have any problems with that. We can do that, of course. Let me see. Okay, but first of all, let us start loud and clear. Canis testis. Very good. That's very, very good. Okay, let us start with the first question today with Anshua. Hi, Inspo. Love your analysis. Thank you very much, bro. EU is planning to start selling QE bonds from September 15th. Probably buyer will be the US via printer. Do you think this will positively impact crypto new all-time high or nah? In my opinion, nah. Why should the US start to print again just to buy QE bonds from the EU? I don't think, I mean, I get your question. I don't think it's going to work. Absolutely not. And I don't think that the EU QE bonds will be very successful, to be honest. It will depend a lot of the next few weeks, what's going to happen next. I have tweeted, you know, when I'm tweeting, many people don't get why I'm tweeting something. When I'm tweeting, for example, about Mr. Zelensky, to be honest, I don't care about Mr. Zelensky. I really don't care about Zelensky. I care about the people. I care about the Ukraine people. I care about the Russian people. I don't care about politicians at all. And when I'm tweeting something like this is because I'm noticing that the media is again flipping. That could also mean that we are reaching a new phase of this conflict. Means de-escalation, means less support to Ukraine, try to push both parties back on the table and to de-escalate everything. So back on track because they are noticing the impact to the markets. They are noticing. And that would be extremely bullish. I mean, then we don't need a new printer, then we don't need anything. And that moment when some conflicts, and I still have some doubts because we are maybe closing some other conflicts, but we are initiating new others and even maybe bigger ones. So the next few months will be key for the markets. I have mentioned several times I could expect end of this year to start a big bull run. I wasn't expecting that now, to be honest. I wasn't expecting that now. Even I think that 2023 is going to be a bigger challenge than 2022. But I also think that the Fed is not going to stop sucking capital from the markets until the US and the whole monetary system, because that's the only thing they have in mind, and that's correct. It's the monetary system of the United States. Like the ECB only has in mind the monetary system of the European Union. That's the only thing. They are not responsible if the economy is going to crash or not. They don't care. They really don't care. That's the government. The government has to care. And of course, at a certain point, both are working together. But at the moment, doesn't look like. And the data is not giving enough feed to bring both together. That's it. So I have my doubts that QE bonds of the European Union could bring some new capital and push, for example, the markets again to the upside. Even I still think that the big bull run, and the bull run that's going to be an exit bull run in my opinion, will start end of the year. That's at least what I'm calling since month. Because in my opinion it's too early. It's just really too early now for an exit bull run. And when I'm saying bull run, I'm saying a big bull run, a really big one. I don't know, all-time highs, maybe, but that will be the last for a long, long time, because 2023, at least after the first half of 2023, the whole situation should flip again. In 2024, many experts are expecting the big issue, a military, an economical view as well. And I think it matches, because everything what we see is just a fort. It's, you know, when people are saying, oh, look what's happening with Nancy Pelosi and Taiwan, everything is going every worse and worse. That's a process. Such processes takes a lot of months. They are, first of all, just checking each other, how far they can go. How is the rhetoric going to change, for example? Is it becoming more sharp? If it's becoming more sharp, are they really realizing what they are telling us? Or it's just everything blah blah? So it's a big process, and that takes months and sometimes even more than a year. So we need to see. I know that the situation between China and Taiwan right now, the tensions are rising, but as mentioned, that's really a process. It's not going to happen from one day to another. Even the Ukraine-Russia conflict, that's not new. And the preparations, and I know that, took place since 2020. So they had a lot of time for that. We go forward. So to be honest, unsure, I don't think that it will have, not in the current position of the EU, it will have a big impact. And I don't think that the US, because of that, is going to start the printer again. I really don't think so. We will see. I mean, if the whole situation changes, also that situation can change. But at the moment, with the current situation, I don't think so. Ari, what a name. Inspos, are we still not accumulating? Nope. I'm worried I sold alts when BTC was 21k and some had double price. Yes, I have mentioned that. Altcoins always recover very quick. Always. That's why I'm not buying Bitcoin. I always just bought altcoins. They can crash 80%, and in a week make 120%. That's what altcoins do, because the entry barrier for retailers is much easier and lower for altcoins than Bitcoin. Always was, and of course, I mean some altcoins, like for example, let us talk about Quant. It costs right now it's at 110 or 112 dollars, but usually when the price is higher, the barrier rise as well. Altcoins, it's the best method to invest in, because even if they crash 80-90%, in 1, 2, 3 weeks they recovered and even went more up. That's what altcoins do. It's a different thing with Ethereum sometimes, and of course with Bitcoin. So you shouldn't worry about that, because the next time when we are going to nuke, altcoins will lose again 90 or 80% or 60%, 50%, whatever, and you will have another entry to jump in. So, I did this mistake last year in May. I sold all my bags, and you can just make a research on Twitter, Inspo Crypto, I don't know, March, April 2021, you will see I had a huge portfolio with more than 40 different coins. I sold everything. I sold absolutely everything. And I slapped myself afterwards. Because, yeah, they crashed. But just 2 weeks later, they went up to the pre-crash levels. And afterwards, they went even more up. So a crash, I mean, the best thing you can do when the Bitcoin market is crashing is, of course, just close before to sell all your altcoins and to be the strong hands and not the weak hands. I would never sell the way down, only sell the top, and especially and in particular with altcoins, always buy the bottom, always. Because they recover so quick afterwards. So, but however, really, don't worry, you will have your nice entry position. And like Metha55 is saying, if you sold in profit, great. Yeah, he's right. So, Cody, turning US money printer on, its political suicide. Not only political suicide, to be honest, but yes, I agree with you. 11 Glory, hi Inspo, where can we find your entities chart on sentiment? I think it's one of the most important charts. Yeah, I agree with you. Well, on sentiment, it's actually very, very easy. If you are, I think you are also here. If you go to the charts, I don't know if I have saved this one. You just need to go to on-chain, supply distribution, and then you have by number of address or by balance of addresses. And I always check both, but the most important one is the balance of addresses. And that's what I'm checking every day. Because when people tell you weights are accumulating, the only thing that this chart is showing you is what the blockchain is showing. You can, just a follower told me, yeah, just related to Wyckoff, they're accumulating. And I said, okay, then show me. Even Wyckoff, I mean, Wyckoff is not easy really to detect an accumulation phase, because if you check the redistribution and the accumulation phase, they are looking very, very similar. So, of course, you have some different factors. On redistribution, for example, it's different like accumulation in certain point, and that's something you need to check. But it's not easy to say, oh, that's a Wyckoff accumulation schematic. Well, then show me. Because I don't see any accumulation at the moment. The only guys that are accumulating at the moment, and not that huge, at least they can't absorb everything, are retailers. They are the only ones, and at the moment even a little bit declining, but they are the only ones. And recently also our market makers. They went from 4,920,000 to 4,960,000. So they raised their balances by 40,000 Bitcoin. That's really in just a few days. That's a lot. But it's not accumulating. They did that several times. They did that here. They did that here, here, because the market maker, his specialization, and he's the strong hand, is usually, and that's what he did last year, for example, and that's a pattern that have usually institutionals, is accumulating while initiating fake rallies. That's usually his functionality in the bear market. He is not doing it. He is not accumulating. He wasn't just at the beginning the main driver of fake rallies. He stopped with that. I don't know why, but that's really uncommon. But nobody is accumulating big. You know, you should see that. You can see that. Even these guys here, it looks on the chart very high because they have a different scale here, but it's not. That's not big accumulation what they are doing. Nobody is big accumulating. Nobody. So we see, for example, big, they are buying big. Sometimes I think they are making such kind of wash trading. They buy to push up the price and they sell afterwards. They would at least explain why the price is going up, down, up, down, up, down, pump and dump, pump and dump, pump and dump. But to prove that, and of course you have some buyers, otherwise we couldn't have an upward trend, right? But at the moment, what we can see is that no big entity is accumulating Bitcoin. That's what we can see here. So let us go forward. How would China attacking Taiwan affect on the market short term? Do you think it will, if it were to happen? Well, Shane, if China would attack Taiwan, that would initiate not only, of course, a global diplomatic problem, but at the same time another supply disruption in nano and micro technology. Means the markets will react extremely bearish, even if it's short term. So something like COVID crash. 4 weeks, V-shape, hard crash, afterwards go up again. Something where I think, like the COVID crash, that was planned. It doesn't have anything to do with COVID, in my opinion. That's my opinion. Because, you know, if that's the information that let markets crash, then we should crash all the time. Because since then we just get the monkeypox, since then we get many other different problems. And yeah. Hey Inspo, how long have you been in the crypto and trading space? Well, crypto not that long, 2 years, because I was an anti-crypto before. Many knows I'm advising in the financial sector, so, and trading space since a long time, a really long time. Mainly trading European indices like IBEX, for example, the Spanish one, DAX, like the German one, and so on and so forth. But for crypto, 2 years. So I missed the best time. Even end of 2020 was a great time. But I was an anti-crypto, also because of my customers. because you always were hearing crypto is scam, crypto hasn't any value. I mean, if you try to take their view, they are right. It doesn't have any big value for them. You know, it's not like to buy stocks and you are getting part of a company and you will get certain percent of the end of the year of their gain, for example. It's something that crypto is not giving you. I mean, you can buy Atom, whatever. I mean, XRP, and if you are not using DeFi or something, it's there. It's dead. It's not giving you any passive income at the moment, you know. But I didn't have the big interest on crypto just before 2020, and just because of a friend of mine, he mentioned that and said, look, please take a look on Bitcoin, take a look on crypto, give them a chance, take a look on that. And then I started with Bitcoin, I started with Ethereum, I started with Ripple, and then I started to research more about the technology behind, and then I recognized, wow, wait, that's huge what they are doing. I mean, right now I'm shifting to another episode of my crypto career, and I'm seeing that everything what's happening, the crypto market in the last 2 years is changing very quick. Very quick. And that's because more and different market actors, big market actors, are coming in. And that's why, for example, just a few weeks ago, or yeah, that was when we had our big nuke to 18,000, I was recognizing the stamp of an institutional when FTX started to accumulate, and they didn't care about the price. And people thought, wow, we are going up. And I have one, I don't know, I'm not convinced here. Be very careful, because that looks very like institutional. What happened afterwards? They dumped, and that's institutional stamp. That's what institutionals, banks, insurances, and so on and so forth like to do. They accumulate quick, doesn't matter to what price, to nuke afterwards, to push the price to a lower level, to buy, and well, sometimes they maintain that level to accumulate something I'm missing, and sometimes they quick accumulate to push up, to distribute again, to push even more down. That's something where at the moment I'm struggling. Related to the whole environment, economical environment, geopolitical environment, and so on and so forth, I think we are not done, and the bottom is not in. But, you know, they are surprising us, because the whole market is changing. Like it did, it seems, since 2017 or 2018, when they introduced the future markets, for example, in crypto as well. Idris, what are your top 5 altcoins at the moment? Atom, Quant, Fusion, Luxo. Wow. Let me check. What was the 5th? No, I think these were the only ones I started to buy. But my list would be much longer. HBAR, SAL, VAT. Jesus, we have enough and a lot of different, incredible, in my opinion, for the digitalization of the economy and industry, that's the next big phase of our civilization. All these altcoins and projects will be extremely important. Ripple, XRP. I know many people hate Ripple or whatever. To be honest, the only coin that many of my customers know by name is Ripple. And these guys are big banks. They know Ripple. They don't know Doge. They don't know Quant. They don't know Atom. They know Ripple because Ripple is a very, very, at least from view of the business case, they did everything right. They have a huge network. They are working with big financial companies, and but I'm not a friend to say Ripple will go up to $100 each coin. I don't think so. It's not even clear what role Ripple will play in case that the banking sector starts to use them, because they just need the network. They don't really need the coins. So I like Ripple. I like the technology behind, even it's centralized. Um, it's, bye-bye Swift. Even Swift is working also on a new version, and it's also quick, but Ripple did everything good, in my opinion. Canis testis, retail wallets slowing down accumulation. They are running out of money. It's possible. It's possible, yeah, that they are doing that. I mean, we have, at least if we check, for example, these wallets, there are entities with 0 to 1 Bitcoin. They keep rising, right now stabilized. If we check, for example, this one, they are wallets with 1 to 10 Bitcoins. They are even declining a little bit. So indicating they are not really sure we could go up more, or they are now ready to take profit. That's also possible. However, some people think that a huge Bitcoin holder with 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 Bitcoin is going to split his wallet in 5,000 different wallets. That's not going to happen. It doesn't even, it could make sense, but from security view, it doesn't make sense. It really does make sense, and they are not going to do that. Maybe later on, someone will use a technology to spread your assets in different, I don't know. To be honest, I'm not so deep in the technology, on the blockchain technology, to say if that could even have any issues to the performance. I really don't know. But in my opinion, why? But Inspo, I mean, maybe the market maker is now splitting his wallet in 1,000, 1 to 10 Bitcoin wallets. Doesn't make sense. Absolutely not. So I don't think so. Let me check, because we still have on Twitter some questions from AS. Why price is constantly increasing whereas OBV is dipping on last days? I mean, you are asking the wrong person, because the price is still rising and rising and rising more. Not really aggressive if we check. It's not really aggressive what they are doing. It's really controlled. It's absolutely very controlled. They know exactly what they are doing. Daniel Smith, tell us everything what you think is important to know about the markets. Jesus. Daniel, that's just a 30 minutes session, but that's a crazy question, man. Money, supply and demand, that's the only key in this market. Volume profile, check the dynamic of the price action, the volume, CVDs as a trend indicator. You know, always it's really important to know why and who. That's the main two questions. Who is doing it and why is he doing it? If you can answer those two questions, you are the king. And that's my daily, actually, my daily goal. To know why and who is doing it. Usually when you know who is doing it, you know why. So if I know FTX, the whole thing is coming from FTX, usually I know what's going to happen next. If I see Binance is doing it, it's really different because on Binance you have different market actors playing. We have the MMs, for example, mainly using Bitcoin collateral futures, but on the other side we have, I guess, also Coinbase whales using Binance, and that is why we have seen many times whale alerts indicating Coinbase to Binance, and people say, hey Inspo, why are they sending their Bitcoins to Binance? Because of liquidity. Binance has a much bigger liquidity than Coinbase. So it's really important to know who is doing it. Of course not the whale, the name and its address, so it's more important to know, is that from a certain exchange coming it? And if so, just check the pattern of this exchange. And then you know why he's doing it, because, for example, he wants to scalp some long shorts on his exchange, or if you see, for example, that they are accumulating or buying more than selling, and that's something that the CBD can show you, at least on trend. Pista, up or down? For you, up. Only up, mate. Let me see. Meta Neo. Hi Inspo. Latest price action has very small delta change. Yeah. Usually it ends up with a big move. What do you expect? First up or down? First up or down? That's always the same question. Wealth ratio increased as you said, but this wall at 19K. What do you think about that? Well, first of all, the only thing, I mean, we just can't try to figure out and detect things. When I'm saying, look, they are here, for example, locking liquidity. I don't care about the exchange walls. I just care that they need to take money and lock it. They are locking their money in an exchange. That's what they are doing. And the question is, why are whales locking their money? Everyone knows locking money is dead money. You are not going to lock money if you don't have any benefit. It's a simple math. So the question is, why should someone lock here, for example, 900 bitcoins? Or at least money for 900 bitcoins, to buy 900 bitcoins. Why should someone doing that? Usually, he's expecting, first of all, that's just communication. He's communicating with us and telling us, that's, you can dump. I don't care. But that's the maximum. I'm not going to allow that. Or, go down, I'm waiting here. I just want to buy here. And the same here, for example. Right now, I mean, 1,000 bitcoins liquidity for 1,000 bitcoins now waiting at 22K. Okay, and we don't have the same to the upside, for example. So usually we would say, if we take a look to this chart, we would say we have a bigger demand than a supply, because we don't have bigger exchange walls to the upside, only to the downside, indicating whales want to buy more than to sell at the moment. But that's not new. That's what they are doing. And on the other side, we don't know if, for example, Binance here is making that. We don't know that. But I just can work here related to the experience I did and patterns. And usually, when we see such a big wall, means go down, I will absorb you. I don't care, but you are not going to go below of 90K. Indicating at the same time, because we have here a bigger gap, for example, without to see any big exchange wall, we need to see if they are going to remove that, because that could also show us they want to push the price to the downside. They will maybe just absorb here 20K and then afterwards go up. In my opinion, we will go more to the downside than to the upside. But as you know, I know many will say, yeah, you are saying that since weeks. And you are right. Yeah, I'm saying that since weeks because the metrics like the wealth ratio was indicating me. At the same time, option traders were in the last weeks more bullish than bearish, and now some bearish trades are coming in. So it could also indicate we will go more to the downside. Doesn't mean we are going to make new lows. Doesn't mean if we go up, for example, we will go to 40K. So I think first down and then more up. But it's, and only if it works on the weekend. Doesn't mean we are going to crash from 23 directly to 19K. Also, that should be a process. I'm also expecting after the big rally that SPY did, that we will have a correction at least. Maybe it's done and we will go down, or it will have a correction. A correction also means for Bitcoin sell pressure. I would expect for next week, for example, also because we have some economical events like PCI, I think, but we know at the moment the market it's ignoring everything. We need to see if they are going to ignore that or not. Romek, will we at 30K before end of August? I don't think so. No. You can say, Inspo, you were wrong. I'm absolutely convinced we will not see 30K until end of August. I don't think so. Because they are not aggressive enough to push up. It seems we have some counterparts. They don't want to let the price go up that way. So, no. Let me go further and check on Discord if I can see any questions. Nope, I don't see any questions here. And nope, also here no questions. So let me go back to YouTube, and if I can find anything more, I would say we are done. Jesus, after 36 minutes we are done. That's really cool. I like that. Well, then I would say let us spend the last 5 minutes to show what the metrics are indicating us. Let me refresh that side here. We see here the wealth ratio right now is declining. The last inflow 70 bitcoins, so nothing at the moment. The funding rate declined, is lifting up slightly right now, indicating they are now demanding more longs. If we check that here, we see the big part. Let me check. That's interesting what happened here. We had here a bigger activity related to exchanges. So for example, we can see that the whole network activity was extremely flat when they did this dump and pump, and that means it was mainly driven by centralized exchanges. I would say it's interesting. Coinbase had here a bigger activity, and here Bitfinex and Coinbase. Usually, let us just turn on all. Okay, and Binance. Yeah, Binance and Coinbase. Really interesting. Really interesting. But it was mainly driven by Binance, yeah. So, yeah, maybe CSAT. No, surely not. Also here we can see that's the exchange reserve by Coinbase. It's declining but maintains up from our June 17th. So we still have almost 16,000 bitcoins more than mid of June, indicating they sent. A different story related to Ethereum, where the exchange reserves related to Ethereum are rising more and more and more, indicating right now we have here right now almost almost 200,000 Ethereum more than just July 21st. Nothing here to check. Let us check here. We see more longs than shorts. The opposite related to Ethereum. We can go back and you see that the Wales ratio 30 hours moving average is declining, and it also shows you here what happened. So the whole thing was very nice organized. So they dumped a little bit their Wales ratio, indicating they sent just less Bitcoins. They pushed then afterwards up and distributed here to push the price down. So they sent Bitcoins to exchanges to push the price down, and afterwards they pushed up. And yeah, that's it. And we see if FTX is lifting up related to spot CBD, while at the same time the aggregated declining. And we can check, I think, yeah, that's mainly Binance. Everything, and even Coinbase, here it shows distribution. Bitfinex not doing anything also. They distributed mainly. They bought here, they sold here. Yeah, that's it. The funding rate on Binance is lifting up. So I would say we are done for today. Thank you very much for watching. It's now time to rest. Have a nice weekend. Love you all. Be careful. Enjoy your weekend. Money is not everything. Time is much more expensive. So take your time, enjoy it, and we will see us. Okay? If I find anything very important, I will tweet as usual. Otherwise, we will see us Monday. So, happy trading. Bye bye, your Inspo.